Hopefully we're live. That's what it says. Let me just confirm. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?
It says we're live.
We're live. Excellent. Good evening, everyone. I am, as usual for this channel, Bad Tempered Badger. And with me this evening, I have this fine gentleman.
Hello. It's good to be here.
Haven't managed to do much collaboration for a while, have we?
No, we chatted about Star Wars.
Yeah, that was a good fun chat.
Yeah, with scientist Mel. But I think this is the first time I've been in your burrow.
Fabulous. Well, it's always good fun to have new people over and have a nice chat.
Yeah, exactly.
To talk about the transcript.
Yes.
So what is the context of this, Mr. Sofa?
Okay, so, well, as you know, as everyone may be aware, unless they've been living in a cave recently, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is currently being impeached.
No.
Yes. And
how did this happen?
Well, what he's being accused of basically is trying to get a foreign power, in this case President Zelenskyy, the president of the Ukraine, to help him win the 2020 election. He's accused of trying to get President Zelenskyy to investigate one of his opponents, namely Joe Biden, and also and his son Hunter Biden.
Of course, he's Hunter Biden.
In a sort of quid pro quo. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. I'll do you a favor if you do me a favor. So we're going to, and Donald Trump keeps repeating ad nauseum, read the transcript. That's what he keeps tweeting. That's what he keeps saying in his rallies.
I've seen him do that a couple of times now.
Yeah, and so that's what we're going to do. You're going to be Donald Trump, and I'm going to be President Zelenskyy, and we're going to read through the transcript, and then we're going to discuss the implications of it.
Am I following Donald Trump on Twitter? No, I'm not. Okay, it must be somebody that I'm following that. Right, shall we begin? I think it's dear old President Charles Dump who goes first, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh yes. So I'll put a link to, or shall I? I'll see what I can do about putting a link to the thing in the description after. I just need to check I can actually do that.
I could put it in the thing.
Yeah, I'll do something about it later on. But let us begin. Memorandum of telephone conversation. Subject: telephone conversation with President Zelenskyy of Ukraine. Participants: President Zelenskyy of Ukraine. Note takers: the White House Situation Room. Date 25th of July 2019. The participants in this conversation are the President, as in Mr. Trump, and the President. So let me get my Trump voice out. Congratulations on a great victory. We all watched you from the United States. You did a terrific job. The way you came from behind somebody who wasn't given much of a chance, you ended up winning easily. It's a fantastic achievement. Congratulations. I have small fingers.
You are absolutely right, Mr. President. We did win big, and we worked hard for this. We worked a lot, but I would like to confess to you that I had an opportunity to learn from you. We used quite a few of your skills and knowledge and were able to use it as an example to our elections. And yes, it is true that these were unique elections. We were in a unique situation that we were able to caution a memorandum of the telephone conversation. This is not verbatim transcript of a discussion. The text in this document records the notes and recollections of the Situation Room duty.
I think you're reading the citations now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's...
And it carries on with
carries on to
President
page
Zelensky
2.
Yeah.
Achieve a unique success. I'm able to tell you the following. The first time you called me to congratulate me when I won my presidential election, and the second time you are now calling me when my party won the parliamentary election. I think I should run more often so you can call me more often and we can talk over the phone more often.
That's a very good idea. I think your country is very happy about that.
Well, yes, to tell you the truth, we are trying to work hard because we wanted to drain the swamp here in our country. We brought in many, many new people, not the old politicians, not the typical politicians, because we want to have a new format and a new type of government. You are a great teacher for us, and in that.
Well, it's very nice of you to say that. I will say that we do a lot for Ukraine. We spend a lot of effort and a lot of time, much more than the European countries are doing, and they should be helping you more than they are. Germany does almost nothing for you. All they do is talk, and I think it's something that you should really ask them about. When I was speaking to Angela Merkel, she talks Ukraine, but she doesn't do anything. A lot of European countries are the same way, so I think it's something you want to look at. But the United States has been very good to Ukraine. I wouldn't say that it's reciprocal necessarily, because things are happening that are not good. But the United States has been very, very good to Ukraine.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Not only 100%, but actually 1000%. Arid, I can tell you the following. I did talk to Angela Merkel, and I did meet with her. I also met and talked with Macron, and I told them that they are not doing quite as much as they need to be doing on the issues with the sanctions. They are not enforcing the sanctions. They are not working as much as they should for Ukraine. It turns out that even though logically the European Union should be our biggest partner, but technically the United States is a much bigger partner than the European Union. And I'm very grateful to you for that, because the United States is doing quite a lot for Ukraine, much more than the European Union, especially when we are talking about sanctions against the Russians, the Russian Federation. Would also like to thank you for your great support, the area. We are ready to continue to cooperate for the next of defined steps. Specifically, we are almost ready to buy more javelins from the United States defense purposes.
I would like you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. We would like you to find out what happened with the whole city, they say crowd strike, I guess. You have one of your wealthy people, the server, they say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on, the whole situation. I think you're surrounding yourself with some of the same people. I would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people, and I would like to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, that whole nonsense ended with a very poor performance by a man named Robert. Competent performance. But they say a lot of it started with Ukraine. Whatever you can do, it's very important that you do it if that's possible.
Yes, it is. Very important for me and everything that you just mentioned earlier. For me, as a president, it is very important, and we are open for any future cooperation. We are ready to open a new page on cooperation in relations between the United States and Ukraine. For that purpose, I just recalled our ambassador from United States, and he will be replaced by a very competent and very experienced ambassador who will work hard on making sure that our two nations are getting closer. I would also like and hope to see him having your trust and your confidence and have personal relations with you so we can cooperate even more so. I will personally tell you that one of my assistants spoke with Mr. Giuliani just recently, and we are hoping very much that Mr. Giuliani will be able to travel to Ukraine, and we will meet once he comes to Ukraine. I just wanted to assure you once again that you have nobody but friends around us. I will make sure that I surround myself with the best and most experienced people. I also want to tell you that we are friends. We are great friends, and you, Mr. President, have friends in our country, so can continue our strategic partnership. I also plan to surround myself with great people, and in addition to that investigation, I guarantee as the President of the Ukraine that all the investigations will be done openly and candidly. I can assure you, Mr.
Good, because I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good and he was shut down, and that's really unfair. A lot of people are talking about that, the way they shut your very good prosecutor down. He doesn't even know the name, does he? You had some very bad people involved. Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City. I would like him to call you. I will ask him to call you along with the Attorney General. Rudy very much knows what's happening, and he is a very capable guy. You could speak to him, and that would be great. The former states, the woman doesn't know her name either, was bad news. The people she was dealing with in the Ukraine were bad news. So I just want to let you know that. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution, so if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me.
I wanted to tell you about the prosecutor. First of all, I understand, Arid, if I'm knowledgeable about the situation. Since we have won the absolute majority in our parliament, the next prosecutor general will be 100% my person, my candidate, who will be approved by the parliament and will start as a new prosecutor in September. He or she will look into the situation, specifically into the company that you mentioned in this issue. The issue of the investigation of the case is actually the issue of making sure to restore the honesty. So we will take care of that and we'll work on the investigation of the case. On top of that, I would kindly ask you if you have any additional information that you can provide to us. It would be very helpful for the investigation to make sure that we administer justice in our country with regard to the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine. As far as I recall, her name was Ivonalexi. It was great that you were the first one who told me that she was bad ambassador, because I agree with you 100%. Her attitude towards me was far from the best, and she admired the previous president, and she was on his side. She would not accept me as the new president well enough.
Well, she's going to go through some things. I'll have Mr. Giuliani give you a call, and I am also going to have the Attorney General Barr call you, and he will get to the bottom of it. I'm sure you will figure it out. I heard the prosecutor was treated very badly, and he was a very fair prosecutor, so good luck with everything. Your economy is going to get better and better, I predict. You have a lot of assets. It's a great country. I have many Ukrainian friends. They're incredible people.
I would like to tell you that I also have quite a few Ukrainian friends that live in the United States.
Sorry, go on.
Actually, last time I traveled to the United States, I stayed in New York near Central Park, and I stayed at the Trump Tower. I will talk to them, and I hope to see them again in the future. I also wanted to thank you for your invitation to visit the United States, specifically Washington, D.C. On the other hand, I also wanted to ensure you that we will be very serious about the case and will work on the investigation. As to the economy, there is much potential for our two countries, and on the issues that is very important for Ukraine is energy independence. I believe we can be very successful and cooperating on energy independence with the United States. We are already working on cooperation. We are buying American oil, but I am very hopeful for a future meeting. We will have more time and more opportunities to discuss these opportunities and get to know each other better. I would like to thank you very much for your support.
Good. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate that. I will tell Rudy and Attorney General Barr to call. Thank you. Whatever you would like to come to the White House, feel free to call whenever you would like to. Give us a date, and we'll work that out. I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much. I would be very happy to come and would be happy to meet with you personally and get to know you better. I am looking forward to our meeting. I also would like to invite you to visit Ukraine and come to the city of Kiev, which is a very beautiful city. We have a beautiful country which would welcome you. On the other hand, I believe that on September the 1st, we will be in Poland, and we can meet in Poland, hopefully. After that, it might be a very good idea for you to travel to Ukraine. We can either take my plane and go to Ukraine, or we can take your plane, which is probably much better than mine.
Okay, we can work that out. I look forward to seeing you in Washington and maybe in Poland, because I think we are going to be there at that time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Congratulations on a fantastic job you've done. The world was watching. I'm not sure it was so much of an upset, but congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Trump talks like an absolute absolute idiot, isn't he?
Yes. Yes.
he doesn't like form sentences, you know.
No. So
So I saw
oh dear, you appear to be
I
breaking
saw a
up.
comment. Let's try again. Am I back?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody had retweeted a clip from one of his speeches. The comment on it was just, "I don't think I've ever before seen someone who thinks with a limp."
Yes. Yes, that is perfect. So, what are we to make of this transcript?
Well, it's difficult to tell with how they talk, isn't it? You could argue that implying that he's going to get the Attorney General and whoever the hell else it was, Rudy, to call the guy is an offer of some benefit to him in exchange for looking into the investigation.
Yeah.
You could argue that.
So, yeah. Do you think that he's guilty of what he's been accused of?
Well, what is the actual definite thing that he's been accused of?
Okay, so I've got an article from The Guardian here. It says, here is what you need to know. Did Trump commit an impeachable offense? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
His attempt to get a foreign power to help him win the 2020 election is precisely the sort of thing the framers of the Constitution worried about when they created the impeachment clause. If presidents could seek foreign help winning elections, there would be no end of foreign intrusions into American sovereignty and democracy. So that's what he's being accused of.
Mm. So he's been accused of, in that conversation, seeking assistance from a foreign power in order to dig up dirt on his opponent.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Is that an accurate assessment, would you say?
It's hard to I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah,
Let's just start with, is that what he's been accused of? He has been accused of, in that conversation, asking for help from a foreign power.
Yeah,
to dig up dirt on his
accused of.
opponent. Right. Well, let's have a little look through it, shall we? Just a second. Let me see if I can option. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Right, can you see my thing?
Hang on.
Yeah, hang on.
Yes, I've got your screen.
Right, let me go back to that a sec. And I'll make myself big, like this. No, like this. No, like this. There we go. Yeah. And if I go like this here.
Yes, I can see it now. Yeah.
Right. So here's what we have. So skipping through all this bullshit here about the introductions.
Yeah.
And talking about the economy and point greatly about how America is great for Ukraine and the European Union is not great for Ukraine. Right, what else we got down here? Oh, it's highlighted this bit. So let's see what this bit is. Why is it highlighted, that bit? First mention of Giuliani. Okay. Here we are mentioning Biden's son.
Yeah.
It doesn't at any point directly say, I want you to investigate Biden's son.
No.
But also, why would he bring it up at all in a conversation about reciprocation of help between the two nations?
Yeah.
If he didn't intend for it to be some kind of thing.
Yes. It could be interpreted that way. But it says there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. Biden went about bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. But he seems to be, if I am interpreting this correctly, and I'm not a lawyer by any means, but
yeah,
he seems to be asking him to look into something that happened in his country. You know, Donald Trump is talking about Hunter Biden stopping a prosecution that happened in the Ukraine, and he's asking the Zelenskyy to look into that.
Actually, is Hunter Biden's what actually is that about? What was the thing? Let me go back to normal view. What actually has Hunter Biden supposedly done?
It doesn't seem to be clear from the transcript, but
no. But let's have a little look and see what he's supposedly done. Let's have a look on the internet here. So, well, when is this supposed to have happened? It would be sometime between 2019. Donald Trump and his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, claimed that Vice President Biden had actually sought the dismissal to protect his son and Burisma Holdings. However, there is no evidence that this is what happened. This is according to Wikipedia that I'm currently reading. There has been no evidence produced of wrongdoing done by Hunter Biden in Ukraine. Okay, right. In the aftermath of the 2014 Ukrainian Revolution, Ukrainian oligarch and former politician Mykola Zelenskyy faced a money laundering, and his Burisma Holdings, one of the largest independent natural gas producers in Ukraine, assembled a high-profile international board in response. Biden, as in Hunter Biden, with Biases, a national law firm based in New York City, was hired to help Burisma with governance best practices, and a consulting firm in which Biden is a partner was also retained by Burisma. Chris Hines, John Kerry's stepson, opposed his partner. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. So he's accused of, I think he's accused of having a conflict of interest and doing some shady dealings involving these Burisma holdings.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at an article on Reuters.com saying something similar. It says Giuliani, that's Rudy Giuliani, has alleged, without providing evidence, that Joe Biden pushed for the firing of Ukraine's top prosecutor to end an investigation into Burisma and Zelenskyy in order to protect his son.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Trump seems to be alluding
that's what
to.
Trump is alleging, and in order to disparage Biden in the upcoming election. So that's what we reckon.
Mm.
That's what is alleged to have happened.
Yes.
I see.
But there doesn't seem to be any evidence from this transcript that Trump is asking Zelenskyy to investigate Biden in order to help him to win the election. That's the crux.
Well, here's the question about this. If we look at this transcript, now if we ignore all the mentions of Rudy Giuliani and Biden and Burisma Holdings and anything of that nature, if we ignore all of that, of this phone call, if that is not the purpose. Because if we read everything in this transcript outside of those mentions of those things, actually did this phone call happen for? There doesn't seem to be a purpose to it unless those things are mentioned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just otherwise it's President Trump ringing up President Zelenskyy and saying, "Congrats on the election. Goodbye."
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no, it's not just that. It's also saying, "Congrats on the election. It's nice how Europe isn't helping you very much. You should come to us."
Yes.
So I think it could both be argued that there is not a huge amount of, it's not directly said that anyone, it's not directly said in that phone transcript, you should dig up dirt on my political opponent, and in reciprocation, I will put you in touch with people you want to be in touch with. But also, those things are mentioned, and if you take out those mentions, there's not really much of a conversation.
No. And
so what do you make of that?
Yeah. The next couple of sentences that are highlighted is where Trump is saying he's going to have Mr. Giuliani to give him a call, and the Attorney General to give him a call, to get to the bottom of what's going on, and he says this. He says, "I heard the prosecutor was treated very badly, and he was a very fair prosecutor, so good luck with everything." And then he said, "Your economy is going to get better and better, I predict."
I predict, yeah.
So that could be that could be the quid pro quo. That you could be saying, if you do this investigation for me, I'll ensure that your economy gets better and better.
It could be saying that, yeah. It could also not be saying that.
Yeah, that's the
and
thing. It's not explicit.
I do not claim to be an expert in any kind of political affairs and international business dealings or anything of that nature. I am not an expert in those fields whatsoever. However, all I'm doing here is I'm looking at that conversation and thinking, they've brought up these things but haven't directly said anything about them. If they weren't the topic of conversation, what was? Because there wasn't much else in.
Oh, hello. Have we lost you?
Am I back? Have I broken it again?
Yeah, it's okay. You're back.
How far did I get?
And there wasn't much else to the conversation without these.
That was it. Yeah. So if that is not the topic of the conversation, what is? Other than Europe's a bit shit, you should trade with us.
Yes. Yeah. But I think, given the context of the conversation, saying that, President Trump is congratulating President Zelenskyy for a good, for a great victory, and congratulating him on getting rid of some bad people around him and draining the swamp, etc., etc. And in that context, he could just be saying, because you've had this victory, because you've got rid of the bad people around you, because of that, your economy is going to grow.
He could have been saying that, but he hasn't explicitly regard exactly why their economy is going to grow. He just says, your economy will grow, I predict.
Yeah.
So, a lot of context to this that is lacking.
Yeah.
And, well, as you can see from the thumbnail of this video, they have met in person.
Yes.
So there are probably all kinds of private conversations that no one is privy to that may, if people were privy to them, add a context to this conversation to imply whether it was or whether it was just congratulations, Europe's a bit shit.
Yeah. And people are saying Trump should release all the transcripts of all the conversations they've had.
And there may not be transcripts because if they've met in person.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That people are saying that the fact that he hasn't released any further transcripts makes him look dodgy. But on the other hand, as you've just said, there may not be transcripts if they've actually met in person rather than had a telephone call. A face-to-face conversation wouldn't necessarily be transcripted.
No, I don't know the exact protocols on keeping transcripts of in-person conversations with the President of the United States.
So, but I think from the transcripts that we have just read, I'm not sure if there's enough evidence for impeachment.
Sorry, could you say that again?
I'm not convinced that there's enough evidence from this transcript that we've just read for impeachment.
No. And I asked from that conversation that there would be enough evidence for it, but I'm presumably there is other evidence to be presented at the impeachment hearings. So let's have a little look at some impeachment hearings information. And see what we can find out, shall we? So we got President Trump. I do not give a shit about your television career. Impeachment. There we go. Trump-Ukraine scandal.
It should be noted that 2/3 of the Senate have to vote for Trump to be ousted, and it's not likely that that's going to happen.
Okay, so here we are. The Trump-Ukraine scandal is an ongoing political scandal in the United States. It revolves around efforts by US President Donald Trump to coerce Ukraine and other foreign countries into providing damaging narratives about 2020 Democratic Party presidential candidate Joe Biden, as well as information related to Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections. Let's see what we can find about evidence, shall we? Communications with Ukrainian officials. What the Trump had in a July conversation. That's the one we're reading, isn't it? July 25th, is that right? Yeah, July 25th. That's the one we've just been reading.
Yeah.
Phone conversation repeatedly pressed Ukrainian to investigate matters related to Hunter Biden. The New York Times reported that Trump told Zelenskyy to speak to Giuliani, and according to the Wall Street Journal, he urged Zelenskyy about 8 times to work with Giuliani and investigate Biden's son. On September 22nd, Trump acknowledged he had discussed Joe Biden during a call with Zelenskyy, and that he had said, "We don't want our people, like Vice President Biden and his son, creating to corruption already in Ukraine." That sentence doesn't make sense. As of October 2019, there has been no evidence produced of any of the alleged wrongdoing by the Bidens. Get out of the way. That's one feature of Wikipedia I'm not into these days. When you mouse over something, it just pops stuff up in your way. Like,
Yeah.
Here we are. During the conversation, Zelenskyy mentioned that on his last visit to the US, he had stayed in Trump Tower. Ethics advocacy. I can't even speak this evening. Advocacy groups described this comment as an attempt to curry favor, saying, "Oh, I stayed in your hotel, so I paid you some money."
Yeah.
Shortly after the conversation, White House aides began asking alert other senior officials who had not participated. The first whistleblower described one White House official as being visibly shaken by what had transpired. July 26th memo, the whistleblower reported the official stated that there was already a conversation underway with White House lawyers about how to handle the discussion because, in the official's view, the president had clearly committed a criminal act by urging a foreign power to investigate a US person for the purposes of advancing his own re-election bid in 2020. Okay, let me go back to this. Robert X has joined us in the chat. Right, so here's the problem that I see here.
Yeah.
While and the conversation clearly mentions those things and doesn't seem to have any purpose other than to mention those things and to poke fingers at Europe. It's not directly stated, so there is plausible deniability in a sense.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Yeah. There's certainly evidence that he asked Zelensky to investigate Hunter Biden, but there doesn't seem to be any evidence that it was for the purpose of digging up dirt on him so that in order to help Trump win the 2020 election. It seems to be for the purpose of finding out why he got that prosecutor sacked. Or so the evidence just isn't there. I don't think it's there.
By itself, in that transcript, no. I wouldn't say that there is enough evidence to really make a case. The question is whether there's enough evidence with additional whether there's enough evidence with additional evidence. Nice sentence there, Badger. The question is whether with additional corroboration there is enough evidence to a plausibility to the idea and beyond reasonable doubt that Trump has asked a foreign power to interfere in a US election. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I think it's inconclusive.
Yeah, that's the problem with this. I think with the information I know, there's no, I wouldn't be able to definitely say that Donald Trump asked President Zelensky to investigate Biden for him. I am definitely not sure that he didn't. And, what I know of Donald Trump's character. Am I still here, by the way, or have I crashed again?
No, you're still here. We can still
okay,
hear
right.
you.
No, it froze for a second, then I thought, oh, have I broke it? Right. So, from what I know of Donald Trump's character, it seems like something he would probably do, but that's not evidence, and it's certainly not any kind of well evidenced indictment of him. The issue is whether the impeachment trial can gather enough to demonstrate that that is what happened, or whether it's plausibly deniable.
Yeah. I think it's plausibly deniable. And
there is the principle of innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. And but I think it's all academic anyway, because if I can get the words out, the Republicans they'll never vote for Donald Trump to be removed, even if he is found guilty. There needs to be 20. There needs to be 2/3 of the Senate, to vote to convict, and in other words, 20 Republicans need to join the Democrats to vote for Trump to be removed, and I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it does seem unlikely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Here's an interesting comment by Critical Cripple. Here we go. If you find a stranger inside a bank vault, he may not be there to try and rob it, but he will be asked to justify how the hell he got there and why.
Yes.
So you could argue, yes, it's not explicitly stated in that conversation that those topics were brought up in the attempt to create a quid pro quo agreement between the two presidents. However, as there wasn't much other context in that conversation, or content rather, in that conversation, why were they brought up at all?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks suspicious,
Mm.
but not suspicious enough.
Yeah. So I think the issue here is going to come down to there is limited evidence that, there's limited direct evidence that there actually was foul play going on. And there is a majority support for Trump's party in the Senate. So it's probably not going to go anywhere.
No.
Which is unfortunate, because then Trump will wave it around as, look, I was found innocent of this crime, so you should elect me again.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's, I believe, one of the primary characteristics of more right-leaning people is a respect for authority and the chain of command, and the leader being the leader, regardless of whether you necessarily agree with every decision.
Yeah.
So, what are your predictions or thoughts or any other comments you might have?
Well, I think I don't think he'll be impeached, and I certainly don't think he'll be removed from office.
Well, here's the thing. I think the way it works is he's already been impeached. I think the process of him being is what has started this investigation.
Yeah.
It's now down to whether he will be actually removed,
Yeah,
or whether he can be found guilty of some crime. That is the question.
Mm.
I think that's the case. If I've cocked that up, somebody please correct me.
Yes. Our critical cripple saying he's been impeached. Okay, yeah. So doomed, I tell you. Doomed. We're doomed, Captain Mannering. We're doomed.
That's not actually the comment I was trying to click on, but it's a good comment, so let's leave it there. No, I'm going to click this one because it's someone agreeing with me. There we go. By the way, I've only just discovered that I can do this, putting comments up on the screen thing, so I'm doing it a lot now.
And
yeah. After you go.
Yeah, but so yeah, he's been impeached, but I doubt it's very unlikely that he'll be removed from office, because there's not the support for it. The Republicans won't vote for him to be removed.
No.
And so that's that.
Also, if he does get removed from office, who's the vice president right now?
Mike Pence.
Yeah, that's not a good option, is it?
No. Badger is abusing his power and should be removed at once.
Well, I think you'll find, Mr. Cripple, that I, as the president of this stream, cannot be impeached. So, right, what else? While we're on the topic of Trump, do you think he's going to get voted in again?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, it looks like at the moment, anyway, in recent polls, I can't remember his name. My mind's gone blank. But
Who are we talking about here?
The
Bernie
Democrat.
Sanders?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders. Thank you. Bernie Sanders seems to be leading in the primaries. So it could well be that he'll eventually be the one who goes up against Trump, and who knows? It could well be that he wins against Trump, unless the Democratic Party screw him over again.
Yeah. Right. Here's my thoughts on it. Boris. So here's my thoughts on it. Right, in America, you have essentially a two-party system. There are independents, but they're all a bit shit. None of them have anywhere near the support required to break into this essentially two-party system. And to be honest, I don't think any of them really deserve that level of support, because from what I've heard about all the independent candidates, they're not very good. I'm not saying the main candidates are very good, but the independent candidates, from what I've read, are worse. So you got essentially a two-party system. You have the Republicans and you have the Democrats.
Yeah.
The Republicans have a at the moment in Donald Trump. Unfortunately, that is the case. They have this figurehead character who is the current sitting president and is supported by the party. And then you have on the Democrat side, you got a load of figures who are not really that great. And you got Bernie Sanders, who I think is the top runner out of them, unless all the other Democrats screw him over, as you mentioned. If they do, they're completely fucked, I think.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I don't know that. I don't know. I am not a political expert. I'm going to just say that again before we go any further. I am a random British knobhead sitting in a badger burrow drinking rum. However, I would like to say that I'm not sure that Bernie commands the same level of authority in terms of getting people to vote for him that Trump does. He has the unfortunate label of being a socialist. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. But that's a rather unpopular label to have placed on oneself.
Yeah. Especially in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And his supporters say, look at the crowds. Look at all the crowds Sanders gets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here in the UK, Jeremy Corbyn drew lots of crowds,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know what happened there.
Yeah, he didn't do so well.
No. So crowds don't always don't.
Yeah, you can have a crowd of your strongest supporters, but if that's the only votes you're getting, you're not going to win.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
They don't always translate to seats.
No. It's like if you looked at all the crowds that turn up to a UKIP rally.
Yeah.
People that turn up to the rallies, but they don't actually get voted in.
No.
Which in some ways is kind of fortunate.
Yes.
I do agree with this comment, though.
Yes.
Badger can talk about Trump, but you never hear Trump talk about Badger because he is scared. Actually, we should write it as Badger from now on. So that's my political commentary for now. So while we've got you here, is there anything else you would like to add to this discussion, Mr. Sofa?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah. I think we've covered everything to the best of our knowledge on it anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, Mr. Sofa, what little projects have you got going, if you have any? Where can people find you?
I haven't got any projects. Actually, there is something in the pipeline that me and my brother are working on, and but that's all I'm going to say for now.
Ooh.
And you can find me on YouTube if you search Black Sofa. I think you may need to scroll down a bit, but you'll see my channel eventually. You can find me on Twitter as Black Sofa as well.
There will be a link to your channel in the description once I actually put it there.
Okay, thanks. Right.
So as you know, I am very well organized, and I put all the details you need to know in the description well after the stream's ended.
Excellent.
So you have a little project coming up. There will be a link to the channel in the description. I'm just about to do that now. I'll put it in the chat while I'm at it.
Excellent.
And there you are on Twitter.
Cool. Yep, that's me.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Now I've made it be on screen. So down all the individual letters to that link, and that's how you find him on the YouTube. Oh, I'm good at this.
Thank you, Lord Croco Squirrel, for subscribing to my channel.
Oh, fabulous. This is going well.
Awesome.
Right, so while we've got a few minutes before we all tool off, does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask in the chat? If so, put them in the chat. and then we can get to them. What am I gonna? Right, let me put a link in the description. Link to. There we go. Right, so all the links should now be in the description.
Cool.
Oh, here's a good question.
Yes.
What do you reckon of that one?
Well, yeah, well, exactly. But I think the problem is, but Bernie Sanders was screwed over to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, and unfortunately, Hillary Clinton is very unpopular.
Yeah, I was going to say that my reasoning for how Donald Trump became president is because there were two options in the election. One was a lying, cheating, demonstrably dishonest, political dynasty having malcontent, and the other was Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yes. And she didn't do herself any favors by calling the Trump supporters deplorables.
No,
Either.
that became a meme that suddenly got.
And yeah, and she's just not, she's just is not very popular, and but also, I mean, people people say that she won the popular vote, but unfortunately, that is not how the American democracy works.
No, that's similar to the voting system over here, in that you can get more votes overall, but if you don't actually win the local areas, you don't win.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Here's another question for you.
Did you know that John Laurie, who played Fraser, We're Doomed in Dad's Army, actually served in World War One?
I didn't know
that.
But it doesn't surprise me.
No, nor me.
Here's a controversial topic. What do you make of this one?
Does pineapple belong on pizza? I'll let you answer that one.
No.
No.
Pineapple doesn't belong on anything. Certainly not my mouth. Although I'm gonna have to sort you out, nerdy Ronan, because look at this. What is pizza?
Pizza?
A base for pineapples? No, it's bloody not. What else we got? Well, there's someone who looks vaguely familiar in the chat asking, do anchovies belong on pizza?
I think they do.
See, here's the thing with anchovies. I've only actually had them once, and they were really strong.
They are a bit strong. Yeah.
How is their I was the, you know. They had that kind of just like, yeah, it's like eating a fish that punches you in the mouth as you eat it.
Robert X is saying that question will get you banned.
Oh, now we've finished the main topic. Everybody's showing up to the stream.
Yeah. Typical.
Look, you lot, you should have been here an hour ago. We were doing a reading, a dramatic reading of some. Thanks, you. Probably only just informed me that my own stream is live. It likes to do that. About when I start streaming, it'll inform me about half an hour in that I'm live.
Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying that, isn't it? Have you ever
had whitebait? I don't know, because I don't know what it is.
No, I don't. I'm not sure what it is either.
Whitebait is a collective term for the immature fry of fish, typically between 1 and 2 inches, 25 centimeters and 25 millimeters and 50 millimeters long. Such young fish often travel together in schools along the coast and move into estuaries and sometimes up rivers where they can be easily caught with fine meshed fishing nets. Whitebaiting is the activity of catching whitebait. Whitebait are tender and edible and can be regarded as a delicacy. Fish is eaten, including head, fins, bones, and guts. Some species make better eating than others, and the particular species that are marketed as whitebait varies in different parts of the world. Let's see what we get around here, shall we? In the United Kingdom today, whitebait principally refers to the fry of, oh dear, young sprats, most commonly herring. They are normally deep fried, coated in flour or a light batter, and served very hot with sprinkled lemon juice and bread and butter. Whitebait are very hard to buy fresh unless the buyer goes to a fishing harbour early in the morning, as most are frozen on the boat. So no, I don't think I have tried that.
No, never have I. For 45 Lies is saying most of the world just laughs at Trump now.
Lisa for Truth says, "What's a Brit doing with a Yank flag?" They are talking in a Trump voice on a live stream. Oh, opened it, closed it again. There we go. I just come out as a Trump supporter. No, he bloody well has not. I spent the whole stream talking about how he talks like he has a limp in his brain.
Oh dear. Oh.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Yes. If you don't laugh, you cry.
Hasn't nuked everyone yet.
That's true. That's another thing. If I was a Trump supporter, I'd be livid
Yeah.
that Trump hasn't kept his promise that Mexico were going to pay for the wall and that Hillary Clinton isn't locked up.
Yeah, he's not had a great track record of doing the things he said he was going to do in his election campaign, has he?
No.
Although the thing with Trump, I was watching a video by a chap called Counter Opinions, or that's Counter. I can't bloody remember the channel name. I'm several glasses of rum deep at this point. So I'm talking about Trump. I need to drink. So, Mr. Trump. What was I talking about? He hasn't done what he said he was going to do. That was it. The thing with Mr. Trump is if you actually, as with most politicians, if you actually read the wording of what he says, he doesn't say very much. That's the same with most politicians. The difference is that most politicians say nothing but in a positive way, saying that we're going to bring the country together and we're going to, the American dream is alive and well and whatever. Whereas Mr. Trump said in his election campaign, the American dream is dead. And then he went on to say a load of negative sounding things. So all the people who are very dissatisfied went, yeah, this is the man for me. He's said absolutely nothing, but he said it with a negative slant.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me just look something up while we're still here. I'm just going to look up. I'm just going to look up some text transcripts of speeches that Trump has done, because something that was pointed out to me a while ago is that when Donald Trump does a speech, if you it's only his delivery that makes it sound like he makes sense. If you actually read just a text transcript of the words he said, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Robert X has subscribed to me on YouTube. Thank you. Oh, if Trump gets re-elected, I might drown myself.
Oh, it's not that great, but it's kind of funny. Okay, let's see if I can find some of these speeches. Oh, get out. Okay, I'm going to try to read this speech from Donald Trump in a completely neutral monotone voice.
Okay.
Well, not quite monotone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going to specific brand of delivery, and we'll see if it makes sense, shall we? Thank you, Paul. You've been my friend for a long time, but thank you for that introduction. That says it all. You can say it very shortly, but I think there's nobody that's ever done more, certainly in the position of president for our great police, and it's an honor to be with you, and please sit down. Let's go have a good time. And Paul, I want to thank you for nearly four decades of exceptional service in the line of duty. I am thrilled to be here at the 126th annual conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, joined by thousands of amazing law enforcement leaders, people that I know, people that I love, people that I respect, who defend our communities, chase down criminals, and keep America safe. You don't hear it enough. You do an incredible job, blah, 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 blah. This is the bit of the speech where it's written down for him. So it kind of has some... Once you get to him ad-libbing, it goes a bit wonky.
To say the least.
But I'm going to tell you a quick story because it all happened right here. And I was very impressed with a certain person, whoever that person may be. I'm sure that we can find him. But about 3 years ago, I was leaving Chicago and I was accompanied by a massive motorcycle brigade of policemen. And to do that, they have to volunteer because I guess most places say you have to volunteer. Well, I had a lot of volunteers, I'll tell you, hundreds and hundreds of them. Other candidates have none. It's almost like a free poll. I had hundreds of them. What's he talking about? Chicago was in the news a lot, just like it is now, because of all the killings going on and all the shootings and all the horrible things. When I arrived at the airplane, the police officers asked whether or not it would be possible to have some pictures, and before I won the election, I could do that. I would do that routinely. Now I think the Secret Service has a little bit of a problem. If it was up to me, I'd do it, but it was just before. Might have even been president-elect, wasn't long ago. The leader of the brigade was this really powerful, strong-looking guy, a big, booming voice. He was definitely the boss. Did we know boss? Put your cycles over here. Come on, let's go. He's going to take a picture. Come on, let's go. Hurry up. Come on. And yet, they love Vince Lombardi. They love Belichick, right? They love Coach Belichick. They love certain people. It's called respect. But he was very respectfully shouting at his men. And come on, let's go. And they were doing exactly as he said. He was the guy.
Oh, dear. Oh.
So here's the problem with Mr. Dump. Without his specific style of delivery, he actually doesn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yet his disciples applaud and cheer. They're easily pleased.
So, I think that'll probably do it for may have drunk too much rum to be coherent for much longer. So as we're talking about Mr. Trump, I'm going to pour myself another one. I think that'll probably do us. What do you reckon? Anything else you want to say?
No.
Far too much rum I've just poured into that glass. Oh, well, I've got to drink it now. So, yeah, anything else you want to add about Mr. Dump?
No, I've got nothing else to add.
Oh, Rory's got something to add. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I would reply, the flag is flying, but no one's home. And one other comment, please let me move to the UK or Denmark or any first world nation.
I wouldn't move to the UK.
Well, we got this nice NHS over here, but we're kind of fucking it up.
Yeah.
They lost my grandmother.
Eh?
My grandmother went to hospital a while ago, and they forgot where they put her.
Oh.
She sat in a waiting room for about 12 hours.
Oh dear.
I went in. She had Alzheimer's. I went in, and they said, I went in. She said, "Oh, hello. Why am I here?" I'm just like, I don't know at this point, Gran. You know. Oh, here's a good question. What brand of rum am I drinking? It is Kraken rum, and it's Kraken good. Oh, because I've been drinking too much rum. Okay, so I think that'll about cover us for this evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much, Mr. Sofa, for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been a good laugh. Do you have any words that make sense? Are you planning to cast that we were doing for a while?
Sorry?
We were doing the podcast for a while before you went on a bit of a break. Are you thinking of doing podcasts again at any point soon?
Oh, right, yeah, the Sofa Cast. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Watch this space is all I can say for now, because there's so much crap going on in my life.
There certainly is a lot of crap going on, isn't there?
Yeah. There's stuff happening. You know, I need to get all my shit together, and then we can maybe talk about it.
All right. Well, let's have a chat about that another time.
Yeah.
So, everyone, please go over to Mr. Surfa's channel, linked in the description. Check him out. And thank you very much for coming. And good night, everyone.
Good night.